Inside the driver's door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. Now the blind spot detection system has a little indicator right here. It'll illuminate right there when there's a vehicle in your blind spot, which is different from vehicles that have it in the mirror. So like say if you have a light in the mirror, you could mistake that for something else. So having it separate is nice. Okay, so the power windows are all automatic, one touch up and down, and they are laminated as well. You see the back window there, how far it goes down. Oh, it goes all the way down. Nice. Not laminated back there though. And the side mirrors are adjusted here. You just pick a side by turning it, and then you just adjust it with that little joystick, and you can power fold the side mirrors here. There's 2 presets for the power seat as well. Now the driver's seat is powered, but in addition to going up and down and tilting and all that stuff like the passenger side, it has a 4-way lumbar adjustment as well. So had to one up the passenger in some way. But also it has a thigh extension as well. Manual has a little button right there. And pull it out, push it back in. So yeah, it one ups in 2 ways, 2 ups. To the left of the steering column, it has a button to open up the power liftgate, and then the dimmer switch for the interior gauges is here as well. And then there's a tilt and telescoping steering column where you can lock it in place here. This is just a little access panel to the fuses. I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I have the driver's seat all the way down and all the way back to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. And this is way too far back for me to drive. I'm 6 feet tall, and it's amazing how far back the seat goes. Now, I'm sure it diminishes the seat room in the back, or the legroom there in the back, but man, I'd have to move it up a good 4 or 5 inches in order to drive safely. So yeah, the legroom is pretty good. So we have room here on the left and right. Not really anything getting in the way. The angle of the footrest is fine. I have big feet, so the size is a little bit of an issue at the very top, but not really a big deal. But yeah, pretty good. So the steering wheel, it is leather wrapped, and it's heated as well. And it has a stitching that doesn't stick out and get in the way, so it feels comfortable. For my hands, the steering wheel is a little bit thinner, but it's still fine. It has a little cushion to it, so yeah, that feels good. The size, if it was small, a little bit on the smaller side like this, and then it was like hard as a rock, that might be a little bit of an issue. But since it has that little cushion in it, it feels good. It feels really good. Now it has the heated steering wheel control there. It's just on or off. Now the cruise control is here on the right side, and these buttons look about the same as they did before. So you can turn on the cruise control, set and resume, cancel, and change the adaptive cruise control distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. I like the way it has two buttons instead of just one, and then the steering assist system here, you can toggle that on or off. Here on the left side is the volume for the radio, change to the tracks, change the audio source, and then you can have, I like the way it has 2 buttons for answering and hanging up for the phone. So once you pair your Bluetooth, if you get a call, you can answer it, and then there's a separate button for hanging up. That hang up button is also the mute button as well. Voice recognition is here, and then you can cycle through these buttons right here for the screen. We'll get to that in a second. Front and rear wiper controls are over here. It does have an automatic function. And turn signal is here, but it also has a headlight switch, which also has an automatic function. Fog lights are controlled here. So this has a full screen for your gauges, and it looks really good. I mean, the clarity, the sharpness, the colors, all that just looks really nice. It has traditional gauge views there as well. And change the look here. Using this button, kind of cycle through different looks here. So now we have the navigation view. Press it again. We can go to this view right here. Press it again. We got that view. And then we go back to the dials. Yeah, the dials look good. I mean, all these look good, but sometimes if you want the navigation right in front of you, let's say you're in an area in which you're not familiar with, you're on a trip, you have a destination set, having the map right there in front of you is nice. Now, if we scroll up and down, you can see it has different information there on this side. So you would have your, the tire pressure will show up there when you start driving, and then your trip, miles per gallon, average miles per gallon, which right now is showing 5 miles per gallon because the vehicle hadn't even left it rolled off the truck and it's brand new. It hadn't left the lot yet. So once you start driving it, it'll be more accurate to normal driving anyway, whatever your radio is doing. So yeah, you have additional information there. But yeah, it's a pretty cool screen. You have outside temperature, digital clock there, engine coolant temperature, then your fuel gauge with your estimated range. And of course, once again, the range will be much better when it can drive, when it's driven normal. And then you have your odometer and trip here. 10 miles is what the vehicle has on it. Volume for the radio is here. All right, so this touchscreen, pretty cool. This is the home screen. Now, when you hit the home button there, this is what it's gonna look like. And it has like a split between your radio and navigation and your calls and stuff like that. But if you slide to the left and right, you have, accidentally clicked the map, you have more options. So there's the home screen, but I love the fact that it has the ability to have a large digital clock with the date right there. It's very large and easy to see because sometimes that's what you need to focus on when you're driving. Time is of the essence, right? So being able to have that pop up there, I love that. That's like some vehicles have a little itty bitty clock and it's barely find it, much less see it. This one, you can have that option and it has the date. It tells you the day, Friday, November 21st. It's very clear, easy to see, and I just like that is very, very important to me. All right, let's go over here. We have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto capabilities. You have your My Subaru app that you can have. You can turn the display off if you want. You can add different shortcuts as well. Even has a valet mode. Now, they have the icons here on the left side. So this right here will be your navigation map. All right. So you can search here. Kind of zoom in and out so we can, something hit the roof. I think it's one of the trees is dropping its seeds at this time of year. All right, so either that or squirrel's throwing something at me. But yeah, there we go, Wilmington. Parkway Subaru in Wilmington, North Carolina. So yeah, a very responsive map here. See how far we can go. Yeah, there we go. We can get the whole Earth. That's pretty cool. Sometimes you just got to get your bearings, right? So you got to see the whole Earth and the stars around it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Next one will be your radio or whatever is playing. So you can have your Bluetooth, USB, AM and FM radio, as well as the satellite radio as well. You can pair your phones here, multiple phones, and have them like in a priority type system, and you can have access to your contacts, messages, favorites, that kind of stuff. And then last but not least is your settings, sound settings, profile, eyesight, driving assistance. Because the adaptive cruise control, on the Subaru, it doesn't have a radar adaptive cruise control. It has an eyesight system. It's actually using two cameras in the front. And the cameras are right up here. And you can notice they're kind of cupped. Last couple years, they cupped them to the windshield and secure them a little bit better. But that's where you can, that's the eyesight system in which you can go into the settings for that. You can manage devices, add your Bluetooth devices, that kind of stuff. You can adjust the displays, your phone, vehicle. Let's go into the vehicle settings here so you can get an idea of what's going on. Let's go back out of that. Time and date, we can of course adjust that. Maintenance, keep up with the maintenance, software updates, valet mode, voice assistant, and network connection. So when we're in the home screen here, if we want to add a shortcut, let's say we want to add a setting. Let's go to sound settings, and now we have the sound settings here. So we can add things to the home, which kind of narrows everything down. And then this last button here at the bottom is your driver profile. Now, right now it's set up as a guest, but you can manage the key. Let's say you have two keys and you want to have things set up differently for each individual person. You could do that as well. So it's a fairly straightforward. You do have the access to voice recognition there. And so yeah, pretty straightforward system. and looks good. The clarity, the resolution, colors, all that look really nice. Has a separate volume knob, I like that. And this right here is essential, being able to access a large, easy to see clock and calendar, basically. Another feature this vehicle has is, I'm gonna skip a little bit further forward and show you the camera, because when I put it in reverse, you can see the camera here. It pops up. That's normal, right? But this has the 360 camera system. So we have the top-down view, we have the back view, we have the active guidelines there. It shows you your tires and everything. This is excellent. Now you have rear cross traffic alert with braking. So if there's something get too close to a vehicle, something behind you, it'll automatically brake. You can turn that off. Parking sensors, you can turn it off quickly. And then you have these different views here. So let's say we want to change the view to this more wide, super wide view. That's more linear. And then we can see what's on the side of the vehicle right here. So you can see right there is the front wheels. So let's say we're getting close to something, a curb or a rock or whatever it happens to be. We can stay razor focused on those wheels and how far they are away from whatever it is. So yeah, that's really cool. Now when we put it in drive, we had the front view. And the reason why I say this is a feature that I really like is that it has an automatic function. So when you automatically start just going very, very slow, like under 5 miles an hour, it just automatically pops up your camera system. So this helps out with parking or creeping next to a curb or whatever. This helps out all the time. Having it had the capability to pop up the camera system when you're going slow. I love that. That's one of my recommendations for years, that vehicles do that, because once you get used to that, it's kind of spoils you, right? So other vehicles had it and I got spoiled. So I wanted to have, all vehicles basically do this, especially the ones with the, the top down 360 type camera system, which this has. Now we had the wide view here, more linear view. And then we have this view. We also have this view, which is kind of interesting. It replicates the vehicle, but it gives it more of an angled look so you can see what's in front of you. So yeah, those are the different views there. And of course, let's say we need to look at the screen without the camera. We can always click out the camera if we want to, right? But being able to, when we creep really slow, that popping up on the screen is awesome. I love that. So the four-way flashes are here. And then the climate control and other controls are down here. So the driver and passenger temperatures are here. We can sync those as well if we want. And then we have the fan speed, where we want the air to blow. We can turn the system on or off. Max AC. Now we can have the fans blow just here in the front or for everybody. So front or everybody, right? Toggles between that. Recirculate the air. Now the heated seats are a 3-stage, high, medium, and low. And then the cooled seats are high, medium, and low. And so you can see the color difference there. It uses the same lights, it just changes. Same thing with the driver here. That's a driver, now it's a passenger. Yeah, the front and rear defrosters recirculate the air, all that stuff. USB-C, USB-A ports, and it has a wireless charger. Now, I had an issue with a Subaru Forester where I put my phone there to charge and it would keep sliding around as I'm driving. But and this is rubberized, it's still rubberized, but it has this little tray around it to keep things from sliding around. So that's excellent. And there's a little status light as well. Love that. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Then you have the cup holders and this little area between it. Arms that spring load. Rubber floor on the bottom of the cup holders. That comes out and you can clean it, put it back in. The shifter is nice. I like the way the cup, accessing the cup holders, the shifter doesn't get in the way. It's right there, so that's good. It has a manual mode as well, so we can put it in manual mode, drive, put it in park, and then there's paddle shifters here, so you can raise and lower the speed ratio. It has a CVT system, but it's basically the same as raising and lowering the gears. It's just a speed ratio instead of a gear ratio. It has the idle stop, which you can turn it off here. It has a brake hold here. They could have an AVW, automatic vehicle hold or whatever, but it has that feature there. This is to quickly turn on the camera, which is great. So having a button to turn it on when you want to use it, and it's very easily accessible. And then you can turn off the traction control for whatever reason. If you need to spin tires, you can turn the traction control off there. Electronic parking brake is here, and you pull up on it to engage it. It engages the rear wheels, and to disengage it, you hold the brake, push down. I like the way it has a little status light. The reason why I mentioned that it engages the rear wheels, there was a Subaru in the past that engage the drive wheels, and in this case, it was a front-wheel drive vehicle, so it was the front wheels that were engaged with the parking brake. All right, so there's a little storage area there, 12-volt power supply there as well. So this armrest is soft, very soft and comfortable, decent size, I suppose. I don't think it's quite big enough to share with the passenger, but me personally anyway. I like the way when you release it, it has a latch and it doesn't rattle. When you release it, you let it go anywhere and it just stays there instead of flapping back down on you. So yeah, that's good. And then the compartment here just has a felt liner in the bottom. There's no connectivity, there's no nothing. Now it does have the places for wires to go in and out of this compartment. So let's say you want to plug in a charger, plug in your phone or plug in a device, and then run the wire into this compartment and put your device in there, out of sight and out of the sun or whatever. You could do that. You could also run the wire in and then back out if you wanted to. But yeah, it's for cable management. Let's say you had a long cable or whatever. But yeah, still wires can go in and out, but there is no plugins in here. Now that little felt lining at the bottom, I'd probably replace that with a lighter colored one, but as it is, it's fine. Now the rear view mirror is also a rear view camera, so it has the mirror functionality. It's auto dimming as well, but it also has the camera, which is what I prefer, so it's excellent. So especially if you have a lot of passengers and cargo behind you, this gives you a direct view behind the vehicle, so that way there's nothing in the way, so you have both, which is great. Now there's a home link garage door opener control on this side, and then there's settings here for the screen on that side. So you can make brightness and adjustment settings there. So right up here is for the sunroof. We also have little tap lights here for reading lights. You can turn on all the interior lights or have them turn on with the door here. So like when you open up the door, right now it's turned off. You can have them turn on. So let's say you just don't want the interior lights. You got a baby sleeping or whatever. You just don't want the interior lights turned on when you open the door. You can turn that feature off. Roadside assistance buttons here, and then you have a place to put your sunglasses or whatever. They kind of have to be some small. You can't have the big Hollywood sunglasses and fit in there, but it does have a place to put them, I suppose. Now the visors are a cloth, a black cloth, just like the headliner, similar to the headliner. And it has a single mirror and a single light there. Now it does have an extension. So like say this slides out like that. It does not slide the whole thing, just that. So, not the best coverage in the world. But sometimes that helps. I mean, it instead of shifting your coverage, it adds to your coverage. So in certain scenarios, that's fine. There's a little clip right there. Sunroof has two buttons, one to slide and one to tilt. And it has a shade that covers 100% of the light, which is nice. And then the sunroof, let's go ahead and slide it back. Press it again. Yeah, it goes a little bit further back when you press it again. And let's go ahead and tilt it up, tilt it down. And I like the way the manual, it's just a manual shade, so you just takes 1 second to close it, and you're not waiting for it to go like that really slow. Okay, so looking at the visibility. Now, of course, the camera helps out with this, but just looking over your shoulder and everything, the visibility has plenty of windows. So, yeah, the visibility is fine. I don't see any issues there. And also want to mention that these side mirrors are auto dimming side mirrors. So even though you can use the camera here, these side mirrors are still auto dimming. You can see they're auto dimming now because I have shade of the light sensor, which is located here. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you to Parkway Subaru here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Parkway has Hyundai, Volvo, and Subaru, and it's like an oasis here in Wilmington. It's like the best dealership. This is the only dealership I go to in Wilmington, and they really go above and beyond. So I'll have their contact information in the description. There will also be tons of more information, a full buyer's guide in the description as well. And if there's more information, I'll add it to a link somewhere else to my website or something, so you can check it out. But hopefully this video has been helpful, and thank you once again for watching. Thank you to Parkway Subaru for providing the vehicle, and see you guys next time.